attack. If you do need to use the toilet, we are trying to do it one at a time, because it's obviously enclosed spaces. And obviously, if there isn't a fire alarm, make your way out the building. So, okay, well, thank you everything. And if we move to the agenda, the first item will be the election of the chairman.
Who's chairing?
It should be vice chair. But you put that, you're
You're the
vice
vice chair too.
Well, I wouldn't do that. That's why I said we should keep asking nominations. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, do we have any nominations for the election of the chairman, please? Greg. Greg.
I'll second Greg.
Public Councillor, does he agree?
Right, do we have any other nominations? If not, we can have a vote on that. All on Greg? All those in favour, please? Yeah.
Can I vote for myself?
It's only about yourself, Greg.
Have some confidence.
Thank you.
Okay, does that mean,
Yep.
do I have to sign something now?
Yeah.
The representative meeting's open, 1908.
So that's Councillor James has signed his acceptance of office of chairman.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the nominations and the vote. On to the next point then. Item 2, election of vice chairman. Yes.
Lindsay.
Second. Third and fourth.
Okay. Are you happy to accept it, then? Can we have a vote of all those in favour of Lindsay? Anybody against? Any abstention? You'd have abstention, one abstention. Welcome, Lindsay. Congratulations. I take item 3 has been covered the declaration.
Yeah, I received declarations of office from all councillors.
So we're all signed in. It's on the council now. Congratulations, all. Welcome. Item 4, apologies for absence. 11 people here. Item 5, disclosure of interest. Now this state, obviously I'm fairly new to this, so if I make a mistake on rather than people like me to keep them sorted out. Yes, sorry.
I noticed you have to fill in the form saying what your pecuniary interests are.
Yeah.
Is that a form that you will give to us, for you people to fill in?
Yeah, I did email it out, but there was a link, but I will,
Okay.
I will flag it to you again, because this has to be back within 28 days of being elected, so you've still got plenty of time, and I'll post more to council. But yes, it's an opportunity at the meeting for anyone to declare particular interest in the agenda items.
minutes of previous meetings, including the correct record of minutes of the following meetings of the council. Did you receive my email, Charles?
I did, yes.
I think everybody else saw that, so I had something to Shall we start with 6A, the EGM and extraordinary meeting on the 4th of March?
It's on page 3 of your agenda.
Basically.
Why EGF?
Because it was called for, it wasn't an ordinary meeting, was it? It was an extraordinary meeting called for by a London
It was
council.
an ear.
All right, yeah, then.
Which is what?
Yes, sorry, they're not
So
in,
at the remote, see what you mean is at the start where I put in at the remote meeting.
yes, put it at the vote, extraordinary.
Well, it wasn't an extraordinary general meeting. That's the one that's called for a special purpose. The purpose of this meeting was surely to catch up with work which we weren't able to do at the full meeting. Am I right there?
Yeah, yes, yes.
A minute ago, it was agendaed as an extraordinary meeting, wasn't it?
Like, yeah, I think it was. But I don't really feel that it's worth getting ourselves tangled up about it. Or I think just make a decision and be consistent through them.
But if the agenda said an extraordinary meeting, I think we'll keep in mind with that, so keep it as an extraordinary meeting for the minutes.
Well, just an extraordinary meeting.
Yeah, extraordinary meeting. Is everybody happy with extraordinary meeting? Everybody in favour of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Anybody
just,
against? I'll just do that again.
what I'll do, that change has been suggested for all of them.
Yes.
So I'll just put that in across all of them.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything before 196, where I am on this? 193, 194, 195. 196, I think you saw my note. You've got the paragraph which appeared there, the detailed notes of discussions will be set out by the clerk in the separate report.
Which paragraph are you referring to, Greg?
96.
196.
Yes, I know, there's...
No, that's the very
The
first
very
sentence.
first part. So,
The opening statement, the second part of the sentence, or second sentence, the detailed notes of these discussions will be set out by the clerk in a separate report. From my understanding when I was reading it, the reports can be sent out to councillors to assist with the actual meeting itself. There's a lot of information, so you can receive a report to help you make decisions. But then any of those decisions made at the meeting itself should all be minuted and put in a minute. But then putting out other reports, I think that's...
I think it was just really because if you've got closed session, anything that has been confidential that's been discussed at the closed session shouldn't be included in the minutes. It should just be a record of the discussion. It does seem a bit impractical because obviously then you've had to sort of exclude information that was confidential. But it's quite clear on that in sort of like the guidance notes that I've read. So that's why I put extra notes because it's just more. It was more detailed list of the things we talked about, so we've got a record of what, the reasoning, because normally the minutes we just do a record of discussion. So we can call it something else.
But what do we do about, because the minutes, as we're doing here, the minutes we all agree, and we can correct any errors, and we can correct any wrong.
Well, I mean,
what do we do about the notes? Because if those notes come out, how do we...
Well, I'm happy to, I mean, what I can send them all around and people can have a look at them and suggest any amendments. It's literally as much verbatim as I could of the meetings that we had. My personal opinion, if we're going to have a note of report like that, we need to, as we're doing with these minutes, we need to vote and accept them as this correct version of what happened. Well,
Because I think there's a chance. So if I put that as a resolution, are we happy to accept that there'll be some a report or notes made, but before they are released, we as a committee have to accept them as a true record?
Yeah.
What went on?
So it would be, I think the note of discussions will be set out by the clerk.
So that's the resolution. Are all those in favour? And anybody against? That was all.
So the resolution is just to be reviewed and accepted.
Yes.
Do you want to approve the minutes with that proviso, or do you want to put all the minutes back and do them all at the next meeting? Do you see what I mean? Do you want to go through the rest of the changes now and then?
Yes,
approve
the rest of the
next
I mean,
meeting?
I'm happy. Yes, because we've said now that the notes, except for the notes of the report, we've got to approve as well. We've got to approve the minutes, can't we?
Yeah.
Anything else on the 6A. Can't remember what's been probably my email. Just check it on.
Sorry, you know that's all you've got on there.
Okay. Item 6B then, which is start on page 5. That's the minutes for. Again, just replacing the meeting, haven't we?
So are you approving those minutes, or would you?
Oh, sorry, yes. Sorry, we're on page 4. Right, sorry, the minutes 6 alpha, so that's the draft EM minutes for the parish council on Thursday, the 4th of March. Are we happy with those changes I've mentioned to accept those as a true record of the meeting?
Yeah.
All those in favour? Any against? And any abstentions? Possibly.
Sorry, is that carry then? Is it
Yes.
carry it? Is there a majority?
It's
So
carried.
let's see, show of hands for accepting it again.
Accepting?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and passing vote. Right.
Actually, it's on page 4 in the next one. 16 is the minutes for the 19th of March. Anybody any points before I come to mine? So my first one is on paragraph 202. So that's just that
Same
report again.
way, yeah.
Uh, 204, did we ever get a breakdown of the costs?
I don't think we have another one.
Anybody, anything else on those minutes there? So those are there, are you happy to accept with that change that I suggest there, those minutes for the 19th of March? Are you in favour? 5 member casting vote.
Yeah.
So on page 5 now, the PM on the Thursday, 25th of March. Again, the change to EM.
Yeah. This is the one where you suggested a change about an extra resolution.
Yes,
It's that would be under 212.
212. We resolved to appoint Martin Wilson of SJS Law and the Bridge Pace Fields, but we did also resolve at the time to ask him to look at the PC position afresh, i.e. if we're starting from scratch, what would we be able to get? We did agree that at that meeting.
Thank you.
So I'd like that resolution in there.
So would you like that change?
Is everybody happy with that change that was at the meeting? All those in favour? Thank you.
So the minutes, and is there anything else on that one?
217,
Yeah.
Parish Council discussed the bridge newsletter for the land for the field behind 5860.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with 16 Ministry.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So will you give that change as well, please?
Yeah. Are you happy with that change? Everybody in favour? Thank you.
So wait, please then.
And with those changes, is everybody happy to accept those minutes as we go away from paper?
It's just that one on 220, number 1.
Oh, 220.
Oh, site, yes, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Sorry, you did put that in your email to me, the
Yes.
first email to me, and I missed it, sorry. Yeah.
Actually, 218.
Yeah.
First of all, on your list as well, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, am I?
This is just, I think we'll have to pick it up if it's to do with the content.
Well, it's just, what's written there is wrong.
But this is a minute of what was said at the meeting.
Right.
So I'm happy for you to pick it up and we'll make sure I'll make a note that it's something to come back to.
Yes, and with that change, sorry, 220 of stroke sire to site. So can I have that again, please? So all those in favour of accepting the minutes for the Thursday, the 25th of March 2021? you very much. Item 6D then, PM again on Thursday, 1st of April. Change the PM and before.
And the same report.
228
Yeah.
please. And I would also like on 228 paragraph C, where we put to ask the solicitor for his opinion on the best commercially available achievable deal with the parish council as if starting afresh.
Sorry, which number was that? Sorry.
228
Yeah.
paragraph C, at the end of the first sentence, to ask for his opinion on the best commercially achievable deal with the parish council as if starting afresh. Is everybody happy with that suggestion?
Yeah.
Everyone in favour? Thank you. Does anybody have any other comments to 221? Just, oh, sorry, 232.
Yeah.
Before items that are there, approve the send back email rather than
Yeah.
send back email.
Yeah.
Were they all to the same person, or was one of them to, I believe one was to a different? It's just not clear from that, so I think we need a way of making that clear. Do you remember? I pictured all those for different.
Yes, they were. So you want to put it as a separate.
I was, or just somehow make, so to approve and send back email to,
Two further, the body just two further residents.
yes, so we know it's a separate resident. Is everybody happy with that change to 232? All those in favour?
Yeah.
Do I have to do that for each resident, or can I just stick to the minutes of the whole thing? Do I have to accept that?
I think it's easier that it's very clear, isn't it, what you're saying?
Said by my feet as well. 233, 234. So with those changes I've mentioned, is everybody happy to accept the minutes for Thursday, 1st of April? All those in favour? Thank you very much. Sorry, was that a yes, Tony?
Is that no?
Is that a yes, Tony? And so,
Yes?
yes, thank you. Right, and now on to the normal meeting on Monday the 6th of April. So we're not meeting.
So we're at page 9.
Page 9, yes. In my first, under 241, we're
Yeah.
discussing the lay-by,
Yeah.
and I was appointed to the lay-by working group of the South Wales and South East.
Sorry. I think I just had an apology for absence because I found the information and I left the message to Stephen and then of course Stephen didn't call. Okay. Yeah. So that's 236 and then councillor Bradbury. Sorry, I do remember that now.
Well, on to 243, which is the first one on page 10. That being was a big piece of the printer. I would like to add in there somewhere that because at the March meeting, it was agreed as a resolution passed that we would send a letter to Mr. Canada, or with a draft of the bridge agreement, and waiting to reply. We had his reply before this meeting, so we're discussing it, we could really note his reply on the item here. And basically, he wanted the same information that the council has been asking for, i.e. the full rating of the bridge itself and their status, i.e. are they a charity or a business, etc. So as I said here, had the PC received a reply from Mr. Canner that required the same documentation from the bridge that the PC was asked for. Is everybody happy with that? All in favour? You have that? I'm trying.
Well, I'm a bit confused reason. And if I remember right, he advised us we speak to a solicitor. Am I correct? Yeah? So you replied in an email, Mr. Chairman, that we should maybe pass the print back over to the bridge committee.
I did, but we also said that we could do that.
Who said we couldn't do that?
We said the meeting because until we know the status of the bridge itself, whether they're a business or a charity, etc., we cannot just give it away.
I don't see why not.
But we're not discussing, I think we should just,
Yeah.
this is about the,
This is about me.
what was said at that meeting, was that we have to-
Well, I thought that's what was said, what I've just said. So I thought we had the letter by then. Got Patrick, or have we not had it by then?
No, we had it, haven't we? We discussed it. He
This is,
said he wanted the same information from you.
No, I don't think, we asked him about the agreement, what sort of agreement there should be. The parish might not really asked him, and that, as I understood it, he went back and said, we have to speak to the solicitor.
He definitely said that. I can't remember when he picked on what he said in his email at that meeting. So
Well, if that's the case, we should
can we
bring it
say,
back,
well,
bring it
can,
back to the next meeting and bring the letter with it.
for that amendment then, could we say the parish council discuss the possible transfer and also discuss the response, or also consider the response, because we did mention his response, didn't we? But I suppose we didn't go further than that because then we agreed that we should seek the information which was set out. So, and also,
Consider the response. So are we happy with that? All those in favour? Are you happy with that, Tony?
Yeah.
Thank you. On 243, I would also like minuted, and this was stated, that the printer was purchased on behalf of the bridge, and the bridge had paid for it, and was accepted that. I'd just like that minuted as well.
What was on the agenda? What was the agenda item?
it would have just been to discuss, to consider the draft agreement.
Which is the question of the printer being bought for the bridge is extra to the agenda. If that's how we read it, the agenda.
Yes, that's fine, yeah, I'll take that then.
Is there anything else on that?
Not on 243.
Oh, sorry, yes, I see what you did that.
And then I've got 225B.
That is the able, yeah.
Okay. So 225B, just to keep,
247, 220, 5B.
yeah, for everybody else, all the others have a title like 221 more than they wanted to. Rather than
Sorry, yeah,
just
so
have
it's
a
just-
title.
yeah,
All those in favour of having that title, Wendy?
thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other changes? They'd like to make sure? So with those changes mentioned, should everybody have to pass those minutes over to you? Vote please. Thank you very much.
I'll just do fresh copies and get, like, I've got one of you to sign, if that's okay.
Okay. Whilst we're doing nominations for Christine, I just have a question. I believe at the moment council is looking at our NAB representative. Is that something you as a committee should vote on?
Actually, I was appointed to another committee in the county council, and as a result of that, I was also part of that appointment was that to join the NAL committee to serve them from the other committee. The other committee has now disbanded, but NAL asked me to see on. There was an election 5-6 years ago, and it was just before Claire started, and I was nominated. But you don't have to be nominated. I mean, if you want to support nominations, it's got to go to all the parishes in the area.
I did see something recently as well, that because there are some now said around the things, and there were some vacancies that councils with vacancies would be contacted, so we didn't get one of those, so I assume that because you sort of sit as a double hat then, because you're one of them that you can invite on by now and represent us.
Well, I was, but the original committee is disbanded,
Yeah.
which was the Northumberland Strategic Partnership. And then I was elected, as I say, shortly before you started, to NAL again, and there's nobody else given and shows any interest for one. But I mean, it's not the appointment just from Felton Parish Council.
So, yeah, so what you're saying, it's not our appointment, it's yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to move on to 7 third.
Yeah, that's
Okay. So 7 then, appointments of members of existing committees and working groups. So the Felton Cemetery Joint Committee, if we can start at the top.
I have had expressions of interest from Councillor Hood, who's already was a certain member of that committee, and also Councillor Dixon, who was our reserve member.
Okay. Does anybody else have an interest? Councillor Walker has an interest. Okay. I'll take it we can have two, so we now have.
We only have two in terms, but we would usually have a reserve member appointed as well, so that we could, if one of the two attendants, and that's what all the three councils do.
Okay.
So we could have two appointed and what Barbara's been doing is that she has been just coming in, she has been available, so that she's aware of what issues have been going on.
Okay, the question then is, do you want to be on the committee or would you like to reserve on that? You're on the committee?
I think that taking out as a newbie, I'm quite happy to be reserved and find the lay of the land before it happens.
Okay. So in that case, you have to vote on this, or is that just?
Well, why don't you do it at the end, like just do approve all of the,
Okay.
so,
So we've got Councillor Hood and Councillor Dixon on the main members. Councillor Wilson reserved. The Recreation Field Committee.
Barbara is already on that, as is Lindsay, but Barbara has expressed an interest in somebody again, I'm not sure. Lindsay's got his hand in the air, so it looks like he is interested also in somebody. Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Look at her, what you done. She's up the floor, you know. She's the most important person.
It is possible to put additional people on, we just wouldn't have this with councillor member, but it could also, you know, it could be.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm happy with that. Do we still need, we've got one substitute member, I've got two references.
Yeah, yes.
Is anybody else interested? I'm happy to be the substitute member if nobody
I
else
think
is.
it was Jenny Wine as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll call.
So who will we put down for that then?
So we've got
Fiona.
Fiona, Barbara and Lindsay as the main members.
Yeah.
The generously reserved.
You can come along and get involved then, you know, talk through. Right,
The Pledge Committee was made for all councillors.
Yes. So how it works is if we were needed to have hearing, 5 would sit on the first round, and then if there was needed an appeal, we would have additional councillors to choose an appeal body from.
Okay.
So,
So policies review working group, is that still?
Yeah.
Yeah, that we sort of put that on pause. It was really useful the previous year. We did quite a lot of work on the policies. It's been very difficult with COVID because doing it on the screen is just not achieved the same. Because we used to sit around and all go through the document at the same time. So I would like to continue that working group because it has been very helpful.
And how many members do you need on that?
As many as we want, really. I mean, the terms of reference say that it was the chairman, 2 councillors and the clerk, but actually we did have 4 people on it. It was previously Stephen Norton, and then councillors Dixon, Blackburn and Souter. So
Obviously,
I think anybody that's interested is welcome on it because it's quite, it's, as I say, quite helpful.
do you still have to be on that one, Ruby?
Yeah.
I do regarding, so then the other and Paul.
And the chairman. You didn't know that, did you, when you signed up as chair? But it means if we've got a few people, then it means that even if we don't have everybody available, we can still make some progress on that.
Yeah, we've got the contracts working group. Is that something we just need to put together as and when we?
Yeah, I think, well, I wondered if there was suggestions that were made that the accounts group into a committee, that perhaps the contracts working group could be a sub-group of that,
Yeah.
as and when needed, because it's likely to be the same people that are interested.
Just so people are aware, the accounts is a working group. The working groups are only supposed to be for short-term projects, so the accounts and audit should be a committee. So we're going to make that a full committee as such. As is the property management group would be a proper management committee. It's my intention, if everybody's happy with that. Because again, working groups are only short-term. So yes, I'm happy for that contracts working group to be part of, or sub-part of the audits and accounts working group.
I think that makes sense because it sits neatly with them and then we can sort of...
Does anybody have any objections to that idea?
Well, the contract, yes and no. The contract originally came up to assist in preparing specifications.
For the bush shelters, was it?
Before then. So more arranging technical information to assist the clerk
Okay.
rather than finance.
Oh, no,
So they will go hand in hand, but it's a bit more than just finance.
So just have it as maybe just reappoint as a... Well, should we appoint some members to it now and then...
There's
Yeah.
a pool.
that one, I can see, would depend again on what the contract is, as to where the speciality may lie, so, you know, we could find that we might want to different people.
There was an assistance as necessary.
Yeah. So are we happy to leave that one as required? Is that the idea, or do you want it to? What would you suggest?
I think we should have some initial members
Yeah.
because then otherwise we would have to wait till the next meeting to appoint some people to it. But if we've already got some standing members, if there's expertise elsewhere in the council, we could always use those members to co-opt somebody on because they could just, you know, bring in whoever might have their expertise.
Do you have anybody who has an interest in contracts? You have to use,
Well, I was on it before.
you have to do that, isn't it? So it's not Lindsay. And do you want to idea?
Somebody else wants to do it?
Okay. Unless Richard, that's something you think you could do with them.
Good.
Yeah,
So I've got 3 there, that's good.
thank you.
So that's Councillor Souter, Walton and Evans.
So we're going to sit that out as a group as opposed to a committee?
I think it's so because they're not making any decisions, I suppose, they're going to be recommending.
Yes,
They're going to
that's
do the work and then wait for... I just saw you all working away there.
Can't see anything.
Are you all right? Oh, yeah, I've got to
The overall working group?
Well, I think they were working quite, I mean, previously you've had Councillors Dixon, Thornton, yourself on the lay-by one, and Ms. Zojak were one of those, and they were progressing quite well, so I suppose whether, you know...
Are the people on those, are we trying for those to stay on because there's a lot?
Yeah, I think so. It's such a good point for them.
Yes.
And obviously for, this is resulting in now to be a member of the governing electorate in those groups.
we can have those, because it's a working group,
Yeah, and it says so in the terms and
set in terms of reference.
That's what I'm asking.
Sorry?
I was just going to ask much the same question.
Yes, yeah, thank you very much.
So it would be continuing in the overall working group. Do you have an extra councillor? I don't know if you want an extra councillor in on the Oval and South Lane.
Well, anyone's welcome.
Well,
Thank you very much.
John, are you
Oh,
coming in?
you two get one.
no, I was going to say as a non-committee member, I've heard lots of good things about that working group.
So
I'm not sure you need a lot of help.
well, I think just because we should really actually can, so we've got, overall we've got councillors Dixon, Thornton and Goodin, same for South Lane, South View, and then lay-by would be councillors Dixon, Thornton and Lanes.
Yeah.
Fine. Unless John, do you want one in the lay-by as well, or?
Which label?
It's the,
Take
it's the little one in front of the Belway estate, and about sorting that out to make that into sort of.
Sure, yeah.
I would be interested in that as well. Space.
So that would be good.
The neighbourhood plan steering group, what do they do?
Well, I put it on the list. Basically, what happened is in 2019 we sort of started this neighbourhood plan. There was some steering group terms of reference, and then we had all sorts of issues with scheduling meetings, technical issues, etc., etc. And basically, it didn't progress. Now Gemma and Richard are well aware of the history and everything. So it's on there because we sort of said we should. You know, there have been interest, there's been something that a resident had asked me about it at some point, so it's whether or not we want to try and get that, you know, we've got a new group of councillors who we want to try and reboot. Two of you formally had interest in that, do we want to try and reboot it? Because if you're going to appoint some people, we can see where we go with it.
Okay. And that's the gentleman who should be interested in that as well, anyway. Yeah. We've got two. Do we need a third?
Ideally, but anybody else excited about the,
I'm not for the term of this.
do you not? Okay. Oh yes, okay, yeah. Yeah, fine.
That just needs two.
Well, because at the time when we appointed, this is one of the issues we ran into, that we didn't have two councillors who were, I think it's the sort of thing really we do need to be interested in, and feel strongly about, and we didn't have that on the council. So at the time when we made the steering group, we had to make an exception to our working groups policy, which usually require 3 people. So I think that can continue.
But again, they can co-opt.
They could co-opt, yeah, extra members in.
Yeah, I was just going to make 2 points. When we tried to set it up before, there were quite a few people who weren't councillors, obviously, but because it has to be done as a parish council exercise for it to be recognised by the county council, it's essential that some of us are on it as well. And I think it's becoming more urgent with government talking about changing planning policy, which will have an impact on rural planning things. The neighbourhood plan will give us more control over what happens in the
It'll give you a little bit of control, but not give us full control.
No,
Well, any controls for other roads, yeah. So I think we're all right with it, and we can revisit that as we need to. If the councillors felt that they would benefit from a third person, then we could bring it back and say we need to appoint somebody else, or they could potentially co-opt somebody in anyway. So.
have we got a third volunteer, or just 2 of us?
Sorry, no, this is the second one.
Jenna?
I'm happy to help. I like designing.
Well, come to the meeting as well.
Yeah.
We'll put Anna's down to say, is that okay?
Thank you, Anne. So the ordinance and county working group wants to make a committee for the top of that. So it's, right, once we do that, I think you'll have to show them, right? It's signing their homework, doesn't have to
If you
be-
can, just wait.
Actually, on this topic, we were busy doing it last year, and there's some hard copies floating around. Where have they gone to?
The property review,
Yes.
or we're on accounts at the moment.
I thought you were on the property.
Jumping ahead of me.
Sorry.
I think it's fine to be on that What you couldn't do is be the bank reconciliations,
Right,
Mr Chairman, but I don't see why you can't join the
so I'm happy on that one.
committee.
Okay. Anybody else,
Yes, I'm very happy with that.
Rich and Tony?
So Tony and Mitchell was that.
Yeah, thank you.
What's that called? The accounts, if you wanted to be, yeah.
It's going to be a council committee. Was that yourself as well?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, what we had said, we did do some draft terms of reference for a working group, which I think would be able to be adapted, will form the basis for a terms of reference for a committee. And we had already thought about having a minimum of 3 councillors and some reserve councillors, so I think it's fine for point
Do we need to nominate a chairman for that now? Or whether the first meeting they nominate their own first meeting?
I think the first meeting you nominate, because we can give that the council can let the committees select their own.
Yeah, that makes sense, that does. So the property management group, I want that to be a property management committee.
Yeah.
Who was on that?
It was councillors Hood and Souter, and then Mr Walton.
So, if you make that is now,
Sorry, yeah,
what's happened now, I've got words, because did you have for a word?
I think it was with Stephen, but I've got more than usual, I'll grab whatever Stephen has and then we'll...
Keep one out, one of us will get it, and then we'll get round it, then we'll have it to you.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get us to have a meeting anyway, so...
Okay.
Now, the property management committee, because this is ideally, it's quite a big group, so there's a lot of things to look at.
Yeah.
Because I want to put things like the allotments and the roads, because they are part of the property we have, and not the regulatory to do. And because we're dealing with probably where we may get complaints, I think it's worthwhile having, at least all members available serve on that. Because we all take a turn, we all go around and look at roads, pavements, and do some walks and put in a bit like that.
Well, what happened last year was because of COVID, we couldn't go around in groups.
No, appreciate that.
That was why it sort of stalled for a while, didn't it? Yeah.
But I think, I appreciate what you're saying, I'm just wondering whether the thing is, are you envisioning having committee meetings and everybody turns up? Because my concern is that people think, oh, everybody's on it, so it doesn't matter if I don't go. I don't mean that in, like people being idle about it, I just mean the sort of, it's everyone's got to juggle what commitments they've already got, so I feel like if it's a small, when it's an appointed group that knows they've got that responsibility, whether there's sort of more
The thing
accountability for it.
is, the group could ask other people to help out.
Because they're going to appoint the working group, so I suppose the working group doesn't have to just be limited to the committee members, it could be
Okay, yeah.
the working group could say, right, we have some volunteers for the working group.
So, are you happy to remain on that, Mr. Tony? Yes. And you have anything? Do you have anything else that you'd like to be on the and Barbara as well?
So 3, and anything else that you want them to be on that as well, right?
I'll be on that if that's
Yeah,
okay.
That's fine, that's good then. Yeah. And then it can set up whatever working groups, because I suppose it can bring in extra people to the working groups if it needs to. And I've got quite a few jobs for them to be getting on with, so I'll be emailing you all soon about that.
So, environmental working group, I mean, Dave Sobsless and footpath, is that one there under the property management? That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I've sort of said. I've suggested it becomes a new working group set up by property management committee as needed.
Yes.
And I say, think the same for the allotments.
As I say, the allotments.
Yeah, that we bring all that under that umbrella.
Yes. Okay, with that.
John and
If there's an interest in a certain item, such as myself with recreation lane or pant or something like that, are we then, shall I say, not allowed to attend or?
if it's a pecuniary interest, it's going by the code of conduct. So if it's a pecuniary interest,
Well, for instance, obviously I have to declare an interest in rec lane.
Yeah.
But then my skill set, if you can call it that, might be handy for footpaths and handy allotments.
I think so. What we can do is so if you've got a pecuniary interest, it's in the it's divided into two different kinds of interests. There's a list in the interest, Appendix A and a list in Appendix B. A is all the pecuniary ones, which includes interest in land. You've got to declare that at the meeting. What your interest is. You can't participate and you should leave the room. However, there is a section called dispensations in the Code of Conduct where that will permit you to put a written request in advance to say you'd like to take part in the discussion and the vote, and then the council has to decide whether to allow that or not.
I didn't think we could take part in the discussion, I didn't think we
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, it says it says may grant a member a dispensation to participate in a discussion and vote on a matter, even if he or she has an interest.
That was the change.
If the council, this is what?
That was the change.
In the Code of Conduct.
But usually you could take
This is,
part.
well, this is our current Code of Conduct. So we have to re-adopt it if we're changing it, but it does say we can, but it's up to the council. So the council can decide whether or not it is appropriate to grant that dispensation. And I would suggest any requesting dispensation puts in the reasons that they're requesting it, so that the council has the full information and they can decide whether to grant that or not, because the copy that I believe the current code says.
I think one of the other things to get at there, because he has an interest in it, but if we find we can use some of the skills, so say we wanted cutting, for example, or we can do something that could do it, that doesn't preclude us from asking to do it. Any member of the
Does it stop us from starting on a committee if we've got any kind of...
No, because it's the same as normal parish council meeting, so if there's an agenda item, agenda item 8 was something that you had an interest in, that's the item you can't, it's not, you don't have to listen all meetings.
So I can sit on the rec bill committee, even though I've got a boundary with it, but if we were discussing boundaries, I'd have to set out.
Yes, basically, yeah, exactly.
In that case, I'm quite ready to be involved in that.
That's the property management group.
Yeah.
You're going to get your wage rate, it's going to be full learn. Richard, are you saying you'd like to be involved in that as well? No?
I'm not sure what I'm even involved in. I've lost track of the environmental working group. Are we still on that one?
Well, no, exactly, because we were saying what we'll do is we'll make the property management group a committee instead of a working group, and then these other ones, which all relate to the property, etc., can sit underneath the umbrella of the property management group.
Okay.
As working groups.
As working groups.
Can I
Yes,
ask
we
you a
can
question?
co-opt you onto that. We can, whoever's on the property committee can co-opt you onto that working group for that.
Okay, I've got a question to ask, which, when I saw environmental working group, my first reaction was this must be about enhancing our environment, looking after the wildlife, the birds, putting up swift boxes in main streets.
No, it's more about the
Plants,
physical, historically,
flora and fauna.
it's been about the physical, like as in physical environment, as in like,
Okay.
so it kind of covers at the moment things like the ramp at Riverside and, but we could have, there's no reason we couldn't have a, no?
The original environment was for
How was it?
hedgerows and
Flower beds.
No, this one was more for street furniture.
That's what I think, I thought it was more of a.
Yes, this one wasn't what Richard talked about. This was more for the street furniture and the facilities which the parish council provide. Like the bush shelters and this sort of thing. Although,
Sorry,
this is why it's a good idea to put it all under the property management group.
Yeah, I think the wider environmental issues is something people are interested in the village, and there are things that the parish council could assist with and gather information and support a group and encourage them, and there are lots of willing bodies. So if there were such a group, I would like to be involved.
I was going to say there are a couple of groups still in the village.
Yeah.
One environmental and the past few in future has looked to invite them when issues come up.
Yeah.
Or invite them to say, to let us know what they're doing and what they see for the future.
Could we suggest as a new one under 8 then? If we're going to appoint, we could do it as a component of a new committee.
Yes.
They'd have to do that at the next meeting.
No, I've got it on my agenda next item.
Right, okay. So the volunteers.
Do we have to vote on that?
So can we vote on the list? Yeah, so we've got, so what we'll do is, we'll vote on,
There, on committee, are you still doing committees?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we used to have a committee, I can't remember whether it decided that was a boundary review committee.
Yeah, I looked back and when we had people, I think it was either when Bernie or Marion left, there was we looked at it and we said we would appoint new members as and when required because it had been formed because of the particular parish boundaries between Scotland and Newhampton.
See, sometimes things can go, as you said just before, in short notes.
Yeah,
So you need one or two there ready to jump.
but would we say that that now comes under property management, that if it was a boundary issue, it would then the first
You could,
instance?
yeah.
Yes,
And they,
that's right.
What happened was just to put me in the picture.
yeah,
Newton on the Road and Swan Parish Council wanted some of our parish.
right, okay. Okay, I'm going to quickly read through who I've got, just to basically say,
And there was quite a hoo-ha about it. And Newton and Moore eventually submitted a claim to the county council to move the boundary, their boundary, and reduce our area. The case was reviewed by the council and chucked out. They were trying to say that the reasons for doing it was to straighten out the boundaries. But Swan, Newton and Swan Parish Council have a big area east of the A1, down to Hazel, down nearly to Hazel. And our little area, which is the line by Fleming Lane and the woods of the Newton Hall Estate, they said, well, what's the difference? You can't sort of, you're not going to be all on one side or all on the other. And the county council review was, he thinks it's the other.
Well, thank you for that, Tony. We'll go back to, if you can go through, the
yeah,
list of those appointed.
yeah, Claire, could you take your blue bar, please? Right, okay. So, are you ready? Felton Cemetery, Councillors Hood, Councillor Dixon, Reserve, Councillor Walton. Rec Fields Committee, Councillors Thornton, Dixon and Souter, with Councillor Cuthbert as Reserve. Complaints Committee, all. Policies Review Working Group, Councillors Souter, Dixon, Blackbird and Names. Contracts Working Group, Councillors Souter, Walton and Evans. Oval Group and South Lane and South View Group, we've got Councillors Dixon, Thornton and Cruden. Lay-by, we've got Councillors Dixon, Thornton, Names and Cruden. Neighbourhood Plan, Councillors Evans, Cuthbert and Walton. And then the next ones will be, I'll do the financing committee in the next item because they're the new committees.
So we can have,
Property management.
I'm going to put them as item 8 because they're a new committee.
so can I have a vote, all those in favour of those committees as listed there? Okay. Anybody against?
Thank you. Okay, so I'll just jump in, Greg, and tell you so that the audit and accounts, are we going to call it the finance committee?
Finance committee.
Call it what it is.
People happy?
So finance committee, I've got Councillors Lings, Hood, Evans and Blackburn. Property management committee, I've got councillors, this is a long one. Councillors Souter, Dixon, Hood, Thornton, Lings and Cruden.
Strike me, we've got enough.
Okay.
No one even one. Here's somebody can't get. Go reserve.
We'll stay with 5, we can get them in if we need them. And then we're potentially going to have an environment committee as well, are we?
No ancient people are thought about property
Well,
management.
do you want like an actual real environment, like a,
Yeah.
so proposal for a new environment committee, as in, group every committee. And that's going to be Councillors Evans and Cuthbert.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else that would like to be on that?
Do we want it just as environmental, or do we want it as environmental and sustainability?
So it encapsulates.
Do you want it as just environment or environmental and sustainability, like?
Yeah, environmental and sustainability.
We've got this on this in the environment committee, I think that should be in the property committee.
No, but this is more to do with like carbon neutral,
Sustainability and
saving of animals and plants.
Well, you know, but I mean, if the doesn't come into that,
no,
there's no carbon footprint or anything there.
No, yes, no, you're right, that will be under property management. So do I have any takers to join Gemma and Richard?
Claire, can I throw a query in all this?
Yeah.
Felton and Bloom
Yeah.
is merely a point of contact for the ladies who do the tubs.
Yeah.
And it's more of a finance than anything else.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure where it would be appropriate to put it.
The thing is, it's not just ladies either, there's men as well.
Doing the flower tubs.
Yes,
Yes, I get
You
those.
don't have to say it in that astonishing
Believe me,
that makes it different, doesn't it?
I'm sure your lovely wife has you doing away, does she?
As a new boy, does the parish council need to have a committee, or will Felton and Bloom come along and say, we'd like a sub, and then the parish council decides whether they want to support that?
In practice, there's the annual budget
Yeah.
sets a lump sum
Right,
for them,
yeah,
which they draw on as needed.
but it doesn't need a working group or a committee.
No,
We
that's
can
why I
just
just sort of thought had put it under the umbrella
approve
of
the
property
proposals they
management.
put up.
If there were issues, it could go with the property management group, because the likely issues you're going to get are some of the tubs are in poor
Yes.
repair, so they're the kind of things that the property management committee could get on and have
Yeah.
replaced or fixed, so I think it does fit.
I agree with
There.
that, that's something explained had done in the past. So,
with regard to that, when we're talking about it, Mr. Chair, I believe the gentleman who looks after two tubs, one beside, opposite the doctor, beside the doctor's surgery, and one at Bridge End. I believe he's renewed both of them recently at his own cost. And I think that a flank should go to him in appreciation for the work he does, looking after those two tubs, fixing flower, he waters them regularly, and he fixes seats and good over there. Bridge End, and Scotty Boat,
But I decided that.
Bottle Victoria Terrace,
Yeah,
that's all it is.
so we're still on the environmental meeting.
Sustainability, yes.
Go on, do we just work it into the village plan?
Yeah. But I think it would be good to have a committee, because I think there's more interest, as you say, there is more interest in that, isn't there?
Davidson's monument is looked after mainly by Peter, isn't it? Peter Brown. With regards, he did in the market, didn't he?
Okay, so I've got 3 things for that, so.
Oh, maybe a hand.
Yeah, we talk about
So,
flowers.
Can I just confirm, this new committee for the environment, are they having a look in private of, the neighbourhood plan, or is it going to stand alone as a separate item?
That's what we were just saying.
I think it should stand
I think it does need to
I
stand
think it's
alone.
standalone to do
Yeah.
this different purpose. Neighbourhood plan might include environmental elements,
Yeah.
but really it's about the planning and so on.
I think it was one of the pitfalls of it last time, is that it got too bogged down with people wanting to do environmental sustainability planning, which is outside the remit of it. So we need to keep that as a broader picture.
So you could always input into
Yeah, it'd be good to have the same people actually on those two groups, because there will be crossover with it and things.
So we're going to have it as a standalone group, what it can be pulled on, planning and everything, yeah.
Have we got?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, I think Barbara, you saw it as well as us, that some people were very keen on the sort of broader environment and wildlife features and so on, and that was one of the reasons why it was so difficult to keep the focus on planning issues and what sort of village we wanted in the future. So I think it's worth keeping them apart. And the neighbourhood plan has a limited lifetime. You know, once you've done it, you've done it. And it, you know, may take us 2 or 3 years to do, but then that will be finished.
Do we have any other new committees?
Nothing else to do again.
It does say to arrange preparation for the terms of reference for the rooms.
Yes. Yeah, so we need terms of reference in place, so we're 3 weeks away from our next meeting. Don't know if that's too fast to turn around time, but we can certainly at least talk to the committee, talk to those people that have been appointed and get some progress made, and then if they're ready to come to the next meeting, if not, the terms of reference can be brought to the next meeting, but it's just to make everybody aware that we do need to put some terms of reference in place because we don't have them for those.
Okay. So do you want to nominate somebody to do it, or is that anybody agree?
Well, what I'll do is I'll do a list and I'll send an email out to all the new groups so you've got sort of like an easy email list of those people. And then each group, the 3 new ones, we can get going.
So I think we need to vote on the agreement of those new committees and the members. They have to do the list.
Do you want me to just remind you? So we've got Finance Committee, which will be Councillors Lings, Hood, Evans and Blackburn. Property Management Committee, which will be Councillors Dixon, Hood, Thornton, Lings and Gruden. An Environmental and Sustainability Committee, which will be Councillors Evans, Cuthbert and Morton.
Now, show of hands, everybody's in favour of those groups being formed for those members? Any against? Thank you. On to number 9 then, schedule review of terms of reference, policy and regulations. So agree schedule.
Yes, well, we did, as I say, we made quite a lot of progress previously, and then we haven't been able to make as much progress last year with COVID, but obviously now, you know, the rules are easing, so we should be able to get going with that again. And what I would propose as a plan would be for, Lindsay and I have previously done work on collating a list of where we are, so I'll work with Lindsay to get that updated. And we will seek to prioritise them in the order I think we need to, like, you know, what's the most important to review and so on, and we'll work, and then we can just work through the list. I'd aim to have a policy or 2 policies each meeting. I think doing too many in one go, it's just too difficult for the council to sort of work through. So, so the idea is that over the year we'll have a rolling programme of review.
Okay, that sounds good. So,
If that's okay.
review just yourself and Councillor Southall.
We'll kick it off.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We'll kick it off.
Yeah, we've already got the list, haven't we? So we just need to revisit.
Does that need to be a resolution? Or is that-
Yeah, can be.
Okay, we're going to draft from Councillor Southall and keep this schedule off. All in favour? One missing in the toilet. Passed. 10. Now you've got the third of items. This needs to be a resolution, doesn't it?
Yeah, and sorry, it should be standing orders all of 6.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was just because we've got our standing orders which we're taking from now. I've got a suggested list of, well, I've got a set list of things to include at this meeting, but some of them I felt would be better dealt with when we're doing other things.
So can you, somebody just talk me through, so the general power of competence?
The general power of competence, it is a particular power which you have to be eligible, the council declares itself eligible to exercise, and the general power of competence basically means that the council would have the power to act as an individual. So it's like a first port of call, so if you have the general power of competence, that's what you use to carry out your business.
So what do we have to do at the moment?
We meet, so at the moment we have to find like I have to be certain that we're acting under a specified power, so the power to provide allotments is a particular act, power to etc. So at the moment we do meet the criteria except for I need to finish my silver qualification, so that is in progress and hopefully will be done soon, and as soon as I have done that we can review the power of competence and
I've got to about that one anyway, so we can sort of.
Yep. Review the inventory of land and other assets. we've got I mean, that's all ready. The draft accounts and everything already. I just didn't want to send it out in advance of this meeting because I felt like I'd already sent quite a lot of papers out. We're coming out to you tomorrow with the list of the fixed assets. So I thought it made sense to go through it at the same time. You know, people will have it now to review for the June meeting and then it'll be approved at the June meeting.
We also get the internal auditors report. Is that a good one?
Yeah, so he's got the files at the moment. He has done work on it. He's hoping to progress it at the end of the month. And so I should, in touch wood, we should have everything ready for the June to be approved at the June meeting, if that's the aim. So at the June meeting, we will look through, I do have a statement of accounts. There's a AGAR form, which is the one that goes off to the external auditor, which has got the figures transcribed across from the accounts. There's a bank reconciliation for year end. There's an explanation of variances against last year. There's a list of fixed assets and an explanation of reserves. So that all gets done, and the internal review audit report. So ideally we do it all together in one meeting. So I'm suggesting that we would do that review of inventory and other assets at the same time because we have to review the fixed assets as part of that. It seems silly to do it twice.
Okay. Can I just, because there's obviously a lot to go through on those to get through for next meeting, can we have those as soon as
Yeah, tomorrow. I
possible?
just want to sort of send it out to you
Yeah.
with everything else in it. Yeah.
Confirmation payments for insurance cover.
I mean, obviously once we've done our fixed, we're in a fixed price insurance arrangement for everything was a 3-year period, I think. I mean, obviously if there was big changes to the fixed assets list, we would need to revisit the insurance sooner. But otherwise, if that's relatively unchanged, I would suggest that we just look at that when we do budget setting to get, you know, if we need to get new prices then to check that we're still budgeting the right amount.
Anyone have any issues with that? Seems to make sense. Review of subscriptions.
Again, I thought at budget setting I would send out a list of what we currently we subscribe to a couple of newsletters, like newsletters. We obviously pay a subscription to NARC, etc. So again, I think it falls back under budget setting that we just have a list then and say do we still feel we're getting value for money at that point.
And then review of council's expenditure.
So this is the section 127 is basically our donations. It's the free resource and it's the power that we currently use when we're making donations to the Great Northern Ireland, so it's about community benefit. So again, when we do our draft accounts for the June meeting, I'll just draw attention to the total and then that will come back on.
Okay. Does anybody have any issues with deferring those until next meeting? A resolution that we defer those items remaining from Standing Order 6J, that's corrected, until the next meeting. All those in favour? Thank you. Anybody against? Thank you. Now, do we need to have a resolution for the time and place of meetings?
I don't suppose it needs to be a particular resolution. The only point to note on that is obviously we've had a lot, it was okay tonight because Pilates finished early. Now, I'm assuming that is a regular booking. It's a normal swap time, it's normal would be 6 till 7, which is obviously going to give us an ongoing problem, at least while we're sharing a room. I don't know. My memory of pre-COVID is that they used the back room as well. Now, I don't know whether that's intended to continue or still be here, but obviously we can't have them finishing at 7 and they're starting at 7. But given that they're in every week, and we're only once a month, so what I'm saying is that 7 PM time, I don't know how fixed the council wants to be on that, whether we could say we could go to 7:15 to allow that 6 to 7 slot to happen, or whether we say could they do as we did tonight and go earlier. It's not necessarily a decision for now, but I'll speak to the hall bookings officer and find out.
As general, are the committee happy that we continue our route of having the first Monday of every month apart from August and January as the meeting date? Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
Yeah.
Does anybody have any strong feelings about the time? Anybody? Yes.
I really struggle to get back from work, pick up everything I need, and if there's been emails like there were today, to actually do any sort of reading or anything like that, I would much prefer if we could do it say 7:15, 7:30, rather than 7 o'clock.
I mean, and if it makes sense for the larger school, would 7:15 severely affect anybody if we went for a 7:15 start? Presumably that's what we agree with. We can obviously change it as needs must if people have any dire issues. We can,
But the point is, when the time is published on the website, you'll have to change what's on the website there.
I haven't put them on for this year yet, but yeah, I will do.
No, but I mean,
Yeah,
we don't need a certain time, a certain day, a certain
on
time.
the front page of the website, yeah.
Yes. That you would have to amend.
okay, I think that's worth a resolution. And are we happy that unless we otherwise agree, and this can be done by another month, during that month that's coming up, that all meetings are held on the first Monday of the month, apart from August and January, with a 7:15 start. All those in favour?
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12 then, report from County Council Horn.
No, I did think I might have sent one in, but not.
Okay. Nothing.
As usual.
Great.
Well, I did send, I thought with it being the first,
Do we send him a reminder?
I did send him a reminder, yes.
Sorry,
Does anyone have a challenge in why he never gives a report? Because I've been interested in the parish council for a little while now. I think I've seen him twice. And we all, some of us have voted for him, but can he be held, can he be asked for a report?
I was
It's
just,
quite important.
yeah, I sent an email last week to ask.
Because it's, the things like the other side of the, Dundale lines and stuff, that
I know.
if he doesn't give you a report, you presume he hasn't done anything about it.
This has been brought up before, about the knock on the news. And there was an email sent to one and then turned up, and then it's dwindled off again. He was quite regular.
But perhaps we could ask for at least a report.
Yeah.
But perhaps we could say.
That's what I said, I did invite him and I said if he wanted to send a written report and I would read it out and I'll have nothing.
If you want to send emails to people up on gate, and he hasn't. I would just say we need to let them know how dissatisfied we are with the services.
I think that's a fair comment. Can you ask you to send an email to
Yes,
Council
that's
Horn?
fine.
Sorry,
Do ward councillors have an obligation to give reports to their parish council? Is it part of their job?
I don't,
Yes, that's quite correct.
Because if it is, I think we should sort of say, it's part of your job. If you don't do it, we'll report you to the headmaster.
Well, maybe that can't make it work, right? But a statement.
I mean, go no further than Councillor Sanderson, who's on the same party in person. And I think he very rarely listened to me in person.
lots of parish councils have their county councils in attendance, don't they?
I mean, we certainly want a report, a written report, if you can't have it in person.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there was a councillor at a year or two ago at Houghton, and he has over 12 parishes. On his constituency,
So we're happy to get some.
and he used to go to the mall.
Can I just say, Mr. Chairman, that he only has to stay until his report is read out. He doesn't have to stay for the full meeting.
And we can bring that forward as a council. If you
Yeah.
be attended, we can bring that forward so we can clear away straight away.
That's what we do in the past.
Yeah. And that's, if the people happy then that Claire's going to send that on,
Yeah.
if you need to have a resolution, I'll need to have it. We're going to be happy with Claire send that on, all in favour? Item 13 then, to receive report from Northumberland Police, which is exactly what I've done. From Katie Gerard. I'll start off by saying that her restrictions ease from the 21st of June for the police force, and neighbourhood officers are once again able to attend parish council meetings, so she won't make the June one. But she does say, if you have future parish council meeting planned, you like to attend, so I've said yes. I'll give her the dates now, we've got them. And she said she's scheduled while she's off duty, she will send an email update as she has been doing, otherwise she'll attend in person. But I did say we'd bring her agenda item forward as we would have done with council for one, so she doesn't have to stay for all the meeting. What she said for this one, there have been no crimes recorded on the police system for the Felton area between the 4th of April 2021 and the 4th of May 2021. No reported incidents that should raise concern for residents. The neighbourhood officers are aware of the incidents at recreational fields and gates taken off and will continue to monitor the area for antisocial behaviour and disorder. They did say they would advise any incidents of damage or disorder be reported via the 101 number or web submission rather than just actually physical reporting, yes. But I think they just told them it would happen rather than report it, so in the future.
Well, so it was actually, it was just lifted off hinges, wasn't it? It wasn't
Yeah.
damaged.
Mr. Chair, can you remind us of what the officer's name is?
Yes, it's PC Katie Gerard, that's GERRARD 9395. And she's the PCSO for the Royal PCSO neighbourhood.
I make a statement, Mr. Chairman, can we make her aware of the fact that we have terrible problems in this village when the A1 is closed?
Yes.
And I think she needs to get a report from us every 10 times to go back to the field.
Greg, I think as well I saw something, was it something in her emails about the van, the engagement van, hopefully being started up again.
That was in the last one, but yes, I can ask her again about that. So I'll ask her about that. The engagement van and all that really well. You did mention the engagement van. That will probably be in June as well, I think.
Mr. Chairman, our councillor Markham has said about bringing it into items on the next agenda to discuss issues on the traffic and the road closures. Bear in mind that we will be starting the new bypass. That should be negotiated with the department on what is going to happen.
We'll bring that in, let's get it. So that covers the standing from the police. Finance. There's no financial summary and budget monitoring as of 20 May. See the separate documents. Then we have issues with the finance. I think the only thing. Then we have issues on the financial summary and budget monitoring. As I was talking about, finance. Authorize the payments on page 13, finance payments.
Sorry, this is sort of related to the payments. Obviously, we've got the Zoom subscription. We now know, obviously, that it's not going to be. We haven't got the authority yet to have online ones, but it could be useful for working groups. We want to keep going with the Zoom subscription generally for the time being.
I think it's a good idea.
Because I think the working groups could certainly use it with bypass the meeting at the hall, wouldn't it? If they want to.
It would be far more efficient.
I'll give them, I'm happy to just give the code out so people can set their own meetings. That's the case.
Is everyone happy with the?
And we've done that, Church of Reference, so the review of all the points, you can't hardly do that when
No, we can't, no. Sorry, that was just a while I've remembered it. It's interrupting it.
The legal fees, do we want to have a breakdown of that, or was that just literally?
That was one related to rec field, so I think we have had that on the invoice, but that's
actually, the quote originally was for £2,000, correct?
much more, but it's written quite a lot of time off and given the handover between the two solicitors. between them, normally if you retired and the person who's doing it, been doing it.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments or issues on the payments? So is it 40 like going back to Christmas? Can I need to pass a resolution for that? Accept that one or?
No, I think it's just a note, isn't it? Notice.
Will they pass a resolution to authorise these payments? Or
Yes,
can I do-
please.
Okay, so all those in favour of the payments, that's on page 13. Any against? You're abstaining?
No, I'm not against.
We're just tired of voting those.
I know, I'm not honest, some bits on there.
To appoint a member to verify bank reconciliations according to the financial relationship agreement 2, which I can't believe.
Yeah. So, this is just a case of looking through, I do have 5 month conciliation, which tells you what's in the bank accounts, and then what my cash book says should be in the bank accounts. So it's marrying 2 figures up, and I'm happy to let you have a paper file, or we can arrange to do it however you want, to look through, and you can do a random check if you want, or,
I can do it
Sign
for,
off the bank
how long do you want to do it for? Do you want to do it, is every other month or?
well, it says, I mean, the minimum quarterly,
Oh, fair enough.
so do we want to do it more than that? I mean, it's no difficulty, because I do it anyway on a monthly basis, in terms of I do the bank reconciliation, because then I know balances. So it's just whether the person volunteering is happy to do it monthly, or whether they should do it. Although it should be somebody.
Just need to do monthly. Not quarterly or something.
Are you a check signature? You can't do it, Tony.
Well,
You can't do it, you're a signatory.
no, of course not, no, sorry.
Nobody else? All right. I can't do it.
I can
Don't seem to have a lot to do. Would you have to do that?
I think I'm quite good.
I'll
I
do
think to be
it.
honest, I wouldn't know what to do.
Done as well, we've got a volunteer.
Thank you. Thank you, Jared.
It's not challenging, Janet. I'm hoping not.
Don't
Just get
you
my,
know, just
get
say
my,
so.
my precious file, and just, check it, sign it.
And to appoint additional signatories to the bank mandate.
So at the moment we've got, as I say, we've currently got 2 signatories. I think it's probably worth putting a couple, adding a couple, just in case.
You want 3 in case somebody's not available.
Well, we need 2 to, so the mandate is for 2 signatories. So at the moment we've only got 2, so every time there's a payment, councillors could decide to see it. We ideally want at least 1 more, and I would say potentially 2 more if people wanted to err on the side of the extreme caution, just because
Claire, yeah, but I don't know if the bank will accept more than 2. They're 3.
there's space in the form for 4 people.
Oh, well, if there's a case, there was the change of
I
policy.
think so, yeah.
How do we, just a question, because I know that your son does the cutting
Yeah.
thing. Is that something that has to be signed for by signature? I don't think you could sign.
So what happens, so I go online, and how it works practically is I go online and set the payments up, so I have only delegate access, I can't release anything. So I would go online and set up, and then 2 people have to log in and release the payment. So that's 2 hours to me currently.
Okay, and who, so does council do that at the moment?
Right.
You
Yourself
judge.
and Tony would have done it.
Usually,
Stephen.
if my son's payments are gone, usually,
It would be
and Steve Walton does.
Right.
And you see, it's likewise on the cemetery committee. If there's any cemetery payments, someone from the cemetery committee has got at least one person from the cemetery committee has got to do an authorisation. So, Barbara, would you like to go on and see? It's not laborious.
I just send you an email to say, put some payments online, so you log in, and then it comes up, as soon as you log in, you get a screen, you get like a message on the left-hand side of your screen saying, you have payments to authorise on one of your accounts. Click on that, and it takes you direct to the payment page, and then
It's
I
very
think you have to
simple,
use
it's
your,
not time consuming.
you have to use your key code, don't you? You'll get sent a little card reader and a card.
Okay. Yeah, fine, that's fine.
Thank you, Barbara. So we have with just those 3.
I
I think that's,
I think that's fine. It's whether people, I just felt like, I know we've been lucky and we have been untouched by COVID, but it sort of has made me think, should we have 4 so that if there was a problem, we've still got an option of 3 people being available.
Can
You
I,
know,
can
if
I
one person was unwell and one person was unavailable.
I mean, you said that, so Stephen used to do it, so I can still do that.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy to read a 4th is early for my.
yeah. I just feel like then if something unexpected happens, we're sort of giving ourselves a chance, aren't we?
Thank you, Marcus, Lindsay, Greg,
Santander.
So all
I
that
wonder
means,
who you is.
we both have to go
Right,
in and
you
provide
both
your
have to
ID.
keep your identity in the lines.
What will happen is I fill in a form, you both sign it, gets sent to the bank, and then they will send you a letter inviting you to provide random information on this.
In the event I did. It's your passport or
Can I
whatever.
have approval for that, please?
Okay, and again, is everybody happy with the addition of those and signatories, all those in favour? Again. Thank you very much. Items for next agenda,
So just before everybody jumps in on me, I will put all the regular stuff back on. It was just I kept this one quite short and good because I felt like we didn't know how it was going to work in the hall and, you know, so all the usual things, correspondence and etc. For my normal agenda, it will look like a normal agenda.
any questions from the public?
Yes.
We're not going to red line.
So you don't need to tell me that it's what I mean. And then Barbara's mentioned being more closures and the bypass.
The red phone box.
Yes.
Thank you. Actually, the other phone box too.
The BT phone box beside the rescue. That's not ours, but.
Can I ask,
A resident has contacted me about delivery vehicles being parked on the path outside the entrance to Copenhagen, sometimes 6 to 7 times a day. Noted that it is a disabled drop curb, and he sent me some pictures of it, and the Tesco's van particularly in this picture, and it's sort of parked in a fairly dangerous place, certainly blocking the passageway for a disabled person. As well as there's obviously always a risk of damage to people's property, so the resident has asked if there's anything, if it can be looked at, and I mentioned it to Claire to see if it's something that is able to be discussed by us, or whether it's highways or.
I think, yeah, and I said that, I think that, I don't think that there's anything direct actions we can take, we can certainly report on, and I think it might be one that you should put on your list of things that
Yeah,
you need to get off, because the police will come and look at that, because that would obviously be obstruction of
I would
the
say a little instance was somebody complained that the vehicles parked outside of the surgery.
Yeah.
They couldn't get past. And she did say they were trying to send them off the street to see, but every time they go through, there wasn't anybody offending them. But I will mention that to them as well.
Well, I mean, I don't know whether that's a
I
solution.
don't think there's anything we can do to say.
Just report on it, just up the full
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel that the PC's photographic evidence,
It's sufficient.
it would enable them to respond.
But I'll put on the agenda, and then we can report back on points like that, and then I'll get a response from council as well, and then we can give an answer now.
I think the resident did say that he was concerned that his grandchildren or anybody could be coming out of his house and being double in the past, use it as a shortcut. Things like that.
Well, there's a lot of kids walk that way, because it's the Pumpkin Pie route. When Pumpkin Pie are bringing the kids along, it's always on that side of the road.
Oh, this is the wider footpath.
Yeah.
I wonder whether a strategically placed flower box company would.
And you bin.
Well, there is a road sign,
Oh, yeah.
and then there's the tip up, but they're just literally things that just avoiding from parking, doing that.
Can I ask for a resolution, therefore, inviting a resolution to try and reduce the draft minutes from 10 working days?
Yes, we can. Lindsay and I already discussed this, it's one of Lindsay's,
And can I change the resolution and put this agenda 1 week before approval as opposed to 3 days as an item we discussed?
Sorry?
I want to publish the agenda 1 week before as opposed to 3 working days I'd just like a bit more time.
So we go up when, well, I will discuss it at the minute, put on as an agenda item.
As a agenda item.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any other agenda items they'd like to bring up for the next meeting?
I think that we should have a bit more of an open door policy with members of that. And if I was wondering whether it would be acceptable to have a one-way social media page for the parish council, which would be very similar to some of the county councils where it doesn't accept, they're not going to get into a discussion on Facebook, for instance, or Twitter or whatever. But you could say that there's a something's been passed and this is what we're going to do about it. These are the people who are working on this working group, and if anybody who lives in the village has got any help they'd like to offer or considerations they want to be heard, then that, as well as putting it in the bridge or putting it in the notes board, might be a good idea.
Is our website, or could we not have our website covered that anyway?
I think what we could do is, you could put it on the website and then share it across to make it easy, because I think people don't go to the website, do they?
So if I go to that one, what if I go to another one, that's my question.
But there's a lot on
If you
Facebook,
ask
there's
the
a lot on
website,
Facebook, well, we can discuss it, but it's not, because they're on Facebook anyway, I suppose, aren't they? Richard's probably saying.
Could we also discuss the possibility of having regular, or if not regular, fairly frequent open meetings that people can come to and ask questions and throw ideas around, like surgery or something like that. And it's, well, we could talk about Ian's notes on the agenda next time.
They're sort of like,
Yeah, there's some-
similar size, it's
Yeah,
quite hard
yeah.
to see, yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't need to
Sure,
necessarily
it doesn't have to be
attend
there.
those, because that's like a surgery, isn't it? It's like counsellor surgery, and I guess very wanted to do those from those.
Bringing the coffee or the cokes.
Come on, I'll come with my resident hat on and make a complaint.
Thinking of which, it went from general to too late, we need to hold a chat, what's the other official we have to hold for?
Annual parish.
Annual parish.
Oh, yeah.
What happens if we don't hold that?
Nothing, because it's one of these things that it's not a council meeting. The advice has come out from the Society of Making Parks and from now to say that it's a bit of an anomaly because the legislature said it should happen by the 1st of June, but then it doesn't actually impose a duty on any one person or body to call it. So it says that it may be called by the chairman, or 2 councillors, or 6 residents. There's no enforcement procedure. I think because, and the advice that came out from that was obviously the caution about health and safety, and you shouldn't be holding meetings unless you have to.
So what do I need to do to call that? Because I would like to call that.
Right, well, in which case, just let me know, we will find the dates and we will do an agenda.
Because I think it's important to try and show that we are trying to engage. We're a new committee, we want to show that we're trying to.
What you've got to remember, Chair, is social distancing.
Yeah.
Same as this meeting here.
Appreciate that.
And what we could do, and what Malk's advice and sort of seems to have, although, you see, this is the thing, everything Malk's planned to really, all the advice that's come out has been very slightly different from different places. The option is that, yes, it should have been called by 1st of June. No, sorry, it should be held by the 1st of June. There's nothing to stop us saying, look, we want to call one, we're going to wait till the 21st of June when there won't be this, hopefully, touch wood that the thing delays us, and there won't be the restrictions in the same way, and that hopefully we'll be able to have a more public event. And I think that is, that's what Malcolm's SLCC, sorry, I feel like I'm drawing something. That's what SLCC is sort of, and Malcolm's seems to be saying that,
Okay, but there's nothing that we would be held responsible, if we wait till just after the 21st of June and see what the fix are, there's nothing that we are breaking the rules on something.
No, because there isn't any, this is what I'm saying, it's not an enforcement thing, and it's not pure council meeting, and I think at least that way, we're still having one, it's allowing as open as possible because we're not going to be restricted by COVID. So that would be my opinion, and that seems to be the advice that we're getting. And I know it's not
Is the rest of the council happy with that, that we wait till we see what the restrictions after
Yeah.
the 21st of June?
But we-
But we
you know,
do,
I guess-
even if they don't change, we do hold one as soon as possible
And
after
we
that.
can get it booked in now
Yes.
before and then advertise it. And in the past, we've sort of, it's been quite a sort of tick box affair, and we've read out some reports, but, you know, there's always been talk, each year we sort of say, should we be trying to get, you know, make it more of a community event? I think there is a need for that as well this year, because we've had such a long time in lockdown that we could hope to make it more of a.
We've got a pizza budget, because then people don't.
Could I suggest that we hold it to mid-July, because then even if, for whatever reason, the 21st of June deadline doesn't actually come, where we're all through restrictions, we've got that little bit leeway of about 3-4 weeks. To just give us
Well, I'll put it on the,
that-
trying to put it on the June agenda, in the meantime, we will look at the availability of the hall, etc., and I'll get some dates penciled in with him.
Anybody else have any items for the next agenda? Any other items?
You can always send them to me in the middle of the month, that's fine, so I'll get them through time.
Okay, so the date of next ordinary meeting is the 7th of June, and we'll have to go to 7:15 then.
And I will be looking to call an additional meeting to do with the surgery at some point before then, I think.
Yeah.